So one, unless you're speaking, please keep your microphones muted to minimize background noise and distractions for others. And secondly, you're encouraged to actively participate by asking questions and sharing insights only via the chat box. So, ladies and gentlemen, at Manipal GlobalNxt University, we bring over a decade of experience in curating and designing and delivering women leadership programs that are tailored specifically for women globally. And till date, we have delivered the WLP programs to about 800 to 1,000 women all over the world across all levels. And today we are kickstarting a series of discussions focusing on a very crucial topic on women's leadership. In these sessions, women leaders, experts, research scholars will be invited to share their insights, their best practices, while the audience can engage with them, with these specialists, by exchanging ideas and seeking guidance on pertinent topics such as especially pertinent topics surrounding women, especially topics like microaggressions, allyship, gender equality, empowering women, fostering an inclusive work culture, as well as gender intelligence. However, our primary focus in today's webinar is on the skills that are essential for women leaders. These skills are not inherent skills, rather, these are abilities that can be developed, learned, integrated, refined through mentoring, coaching, and training. And we are very privileged to have three accomplished women with us today, joining us, who will be providing perspectives and insights from the industry and also academia on the skills women leaders need to thrive. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our speakers today. A strategic HR leader, Gayatri Mohan, has nearly 20 years of professional experience working with large multinationals and multi-geographical, cross-cultural, and virtual teams. She currently heads the people relations for SAP, Asia Pacific, Japan, and Greater China. Before this, Gayatri worked as a trusted HR business partner for the consulting and sales group of Oracle India and as a human resource executive for the banking, financial services, and insurance verticals of Tata Consultancy Services. Gayatri has successfully orchestrated large-scale strategic HR global transformation programs on key employee strategies that have enabled organizations to adopt disruptive, innovative, and future-looking talent solutions. She has successfully driven organizational growth, workforce planning, transformation management, mergers and acquisitions, and organizational and leadership development. As a strong advocate of DEI in her current organization, she plays multiple roles, including people relations, people compliance officer, and a health ambassador, all of which contribute to creating a safe and inclusive workplace for employees. Gayatri's focus on mental well-being and inclusive culture instills a healthy work-life balance and psychological safety for the people at SAP. She won the prestigious Indira Women Leadership Excellence Award in 2024 and got featured as 10 Best Women Leaders in India 2023. Welcome, Gayatri.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dalwinder, and big hi to everyone here. And first of all, thank you for taking your time off during the weekend and making time to attend this most relevant topic. For me, this is a topic which is like evergreen. It doesn't go out of scope. And I'm very thrilled to be part of today's session. And a big thanks to Dr. Mamata, Mary here, Dr. Dalwinder, Sanjeev Lada from Manipal GlobalNxt University for giving this opportunity. And what I look forward to in the next 1 hour is to hear from you, your perspective on the different topics what we are going to discuss, so that I'm rich by so many perspectives towards the end of the session. Thanks.
Thanks, Gayatri. We're very happy to have you with us here today. And our second speaker, Mary Andrews, is a multifaceted L&D leader with over 2 decades of experience in managing end-to-end organization and learning and development life cycle. Throughout her career, she has successfully built learning and global talent strategies and develop talent across various industries. Her expertise lies in designing and executing high impact programs, including full stack tech training, leadership development, performance improvement, and change management initiatives. Her thought leadership has been recognized by industry organizations, such as being named as a next gen L&D leader by GWFM and one of the top 20 L&D transformation leaders by Transformance Forums. Currently, she leads the global L&D function for DTAI at Genpact and is the DEI ambassador for Bangalore location. She has had the privilege of collaborating with renowned organizations such as Dell, Convergys, HP, Fortis, and HGS. She also has extensive experience working with global clients. We are very happy to have you with us today, Mary.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dalwinder. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for taking time out on a weekend to join this interesting conversation. I'm definitely stoked to be here. And I really want to thank Dr. Mamata, Sanjeev, and team and everyone here for inviting me. I'm looking forward to this interesting conversation and listening to different perspectives, thoughts, ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And our third speaker, Dr. Mamata Bhandar, is the Dean of Academics and Corporate Engagement at Manipal GlobalNxt University, Malaysia. She is an accomplished professional specialized in the design and delivery of online and blended executive education programs such as women's leadership, global and strategic leadership, emerging leaders and managers programs, and first-time managers programs. She brings a wealth of experience in leveraging technology to create engaging and effective learning experiences also for research scholars for MSc, ITM, MBA, and DBA in Manipal GlobalNxt University. Whether it's crafting curriculum, facilitating virtual classrooms, or providing personalized coaching, she is passionate about harnessing the power of online platforms to inspire growth and development. We're very happy to have you, and we are looking forward to your insights, Dr. Mamata.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dalwin, and a warm welcome to all of you present here. And again, thank you for taking time off on a weekend to be here with us. I would like to thank Sanjeev for making this webinar happen. This is something we've been working on for a very long time. I mean, we've been delivering these programs, but getting industry experts here to share their views, perspectives, and to have this kind of a discussion, we were able to only do it now. So thank you, Sanjeev, and thanks to our panelists. Looking forward.
Thank you, everyone. So we shall now delve into the insightful discussions that we're all looking forward to. So many companies these days, as we all know, many companies around the world are taking initiatives to support the success of women in the workplace. Now, this trend actually has gained a lot of momentum over the recent years, partially because of the growing awareness on gender equality, the diverse leadership trends, and also, of course, also the trends of also retaining top talents and also attracting the best talents in companies. So my question is for Gayatri. Gayatri, what are some specific initiatives that your company has taken to support women leaders, and what are the impacts of these initiatives on them? Yeah, over to you, Gayatri.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dalwinder. So before I get into the initiatives, I think it's important to understand the business rationale behind it, right? So as you're aware, SAP is a cloud company, and we strive to become the most innovative cloud company. So in order to become the most innovative cloud company, and when we started our DEI journey, that goes back to 2 decades. So we realized that to be an innovative company, there has to be diversity of thought, there has to be diversity of workforce, whether it is neurodiversity, if it is gender diversity, generational diversity. So today's topic being the gender diversity. So we realized in 2014, the representation of women in workforce, women in management is very minimal for us. So that is not definitely helping us to be the most innovative cloud company. And we try to understand what is the root cause. And it's not a surprise when you say as you can see in the screen here. Many of the research also mentions that the productivity is 36% more for companies who are diverse, like the McKinsey study also says that. And the retention is 3.5 times more when you have a diverse workforce. So we took a step back and we started with the job description itself, trying to see if the job descriptions are attracting enough women candidates. Are we having any bias over there? So with the help of our apps, internal hiring apps, we made the job description gender neutral so as to attract the right candidate. And also we refined our hiring practices to see that at least we have one of the diversity leader, at least a woman leader in the panel as a panelist, so that you bring in the diverse aspect and the thought process. And we also ensure there is an initiative called 2X, wherein for any of the leadership role, we need to have one diversity candidate till the last round. Definitely the position is given to the most, the candidate who deserves it the most, but then we wanted to bring in somewhere the diversity there, right? So that kind of helped to get in more, pipeline of women candidates into the organization. And once the women colleagues started coming in, we also have more focused programs for entry level, middle level, and senior management. So in the entry level, the more focus is on building the technical capability. But as you move up the ladder, you need to get the people along. It's more focused on your soft skills. So we came up with a program for sponsorship wherein some of the senior leaders will sponsor the most potential women candidates or colleagues and then try to help them or groom them for potential role or management for roles that way. We also have something called Women to Watch program, wherein we wanted to groom more people to the People Manager Initiative. So very interestingly, we found that we are not getting enough of internal application to some of the senior women roles. And when we checked with some of the colleagues, we did a little bit of a discovery survey. The interesting thing which came in, like they are not very sure if they will succeed in the role. They weren't sure about the work-life balance, if they pick up higher role responsibility. So what we did was we provided an opportunity called such assignments. So over and above what they're doing as a job responsibility, 30 to 40%, even 100%, they could dedicate, they could work on a particular team, work for a particular role, so that they get a feeler, they could do some water testing, right, about what the role encompasses. And we also did an initiative called speed mentoring, so wherein it is sometimes difficult for our colleagues to make inroads to senior leadership across Asia, Pacific, Japan, right? So we had some of the senior leaders across Asia who would sponsor and do some speed mentoring, like half an hour with some of the candidates. So you can get different perspective from different leaders in that 1 hour, 2 hours you're spending. So you get that insights into 3, 4 leaders. So all of this, I would say it's a conscious effort, right? What we put in our ears. And I would say that right now we are at 35% of women in workforce. When we started at 10%, and we are at 30% women in management because of all this conscious effort. And again, so you cannot really avoid the personal side of a woman colleague, right? So in order to bring in those personal angle and in order to provide an ecosystem for them, we have a nurture and network group so that women colleagues and even this is gender neutral for that matter, colleagues could come together, they could discuss about an issue like a new parent, trying to work or a parent with a differently able child and how do they, perform productivity or how the organization can support them. So we do not want to lose our edge while we speak about it being a technology company. So we have Business Women Network Group, wherein the various women colleagues come together and also they discuss about the latest trends, technology, what white paper they should submit, and how we could create a stamp when it comes to the women leadership in the technology lab across the world. So these are some of the initiatives what I want to share or highlight from SAP side.
Thank you, Gayatri. So from what I gather, there are just a lot of programs to provide mentorship, coaching, and also train these women leaders at work, and also to help them, to help the existing women force at work to upskill themselves, and so on. So interesting points. Thank you for sharing the initiatives and also the impacts. Mary, do you, in your organization, do you have such initiatives, or is that something else that is practiced at your workplace?
Thank you, Dr. Dalwinder. Well, we are very similar to what Gayatri has mentioned in SAP. However, we also have a few initiatives which particularly kind of nurture the women leaders or the future women leaders. How do we accelerate? What kind of opportunities can we give to our women workforce? Before I actually dwell into that, I was just listening to Gayatri talk about how the gender diversity or the kind of DEI initiatives organizations are really focusing on to ensure that, we kind of give the right environment, I would say, bring in that kind of diversity, equity, and also, bring in the inclusivity, right, in organizations. While I would say IT and ITES have come way ahead and they're doing far more than what other industries are. The other industries could be the automobile industries or the manufacturing industries, where I still see gender diversity is still a concern. Where while they are doing a lot of initiatives, but I think there's a long gap in terms of what they want to do and where they are currently. And I think it's a conscious effort as an organization. I believe most of the organizations taking in today's world to make sure that there is an inclusive workforce and nurturing environment which is actually given to the employees. Having said that, the kind of initiatives what we do in Genpact is very similar to what Gayatri just happened to mention. But we also have programs, especially because I'm on the tech side. I'm part of the data tech AI world where, women in tech, they're far more ahead in terms of where they are and what they want to do. And they have a very clear thought process in terms of their career, where they want to be compared to the other, businesses or industries. We do have initiatives, which is not only a part of our EAP. We have programs like Women Leadership Program. We partner with Harvard and a few other external partners, training partners, who really nurture and train. It's an 18 months long journey for women employees to really be a part of it. It's just not about getting trained, but it is the ability to learn, implement, grow your network. How do you build your personal brand? I think as women leaders, we tend to take a step back when we really have to build a network or leverage a network compared to our male counterparts. I'm speaking for myself. This is just my opinion and observation so far in the industry. What I've done is we don't really leverage our network the way we should be, right? So the Women Leadership Program actually speaks and brings in different leaders from different industries, across the globe to give us that kind of understanding and also to know more about what are the other women leaders doing in the industry. That's one. We also have a few EAP initiatives, one to support the newly moms or the new moms who return to work, one for them to settle down in the roles which they're comfortable in, helping them find that kind of roles. Second, we also give them flexi work hours because it's extremely challenging to have a newborn at home and also give them that kind of supportive environment, be it at work or in personal life, right? So the new return moms kind of have opportunity to connect with other parents. So we have employee resource groups. We also have parenting communities where it's just not about new moms returning to work. It's also single parents. It's also single fathers, who are handling kids and also, trying to give their best at work. So these communities really help. They talk about the challenges as a parent they're having as a new parent, or it could be, the wins and success stories, or even the challenges they share with each other. We also have partnered with a few, I would say, organizations like Headspace. This is something which really helps us to unwind, make time for our personal well-being. I think in today's day and time, we kind of neglect our well-being. So these, partnerships definitely help us. We invite a lot of speakers and experts who can help us understand, even, do sessions on menopause. How do you handle menopause? Or it could be topics like, how do we break the gender barrier? Sometimes we have this unconscious bias, right? Where we tend to set our own limiting beliefs in terms of how do I navigate, oh, am I doing the right thing? We also have the imposter syndrome. Sometimes we become a victim of it. So these expert sessions actually help you bust those myths. It helps you navigate how you want to accelerate your career, how you want to build your career, how can you lean on others and ask for help. I think it's a big challenge we all have. And we also have initiatives called Pay It Forward. It's a mentoring program we assign you with a sponsor or a mentor who can actually work with you in terms of the career goals or the professional and the personal goals you want to achieve. We also work with NASCOM. There is a program called Women in Tech. We partnered 2 consecutive years. It's a training program for women in tech. We also make sure that we have initiatives or groups for women in AI. We bring them to the podium, make sure that they get that kind of platform to showcase the kind of work they've done and, learn from the best in the industry. So these are some of the initiatives we do at Genpact.
Thank you, Mary, for sharing the very contemporary initiatives that are taken, very similar to what Gayatri mentioned. It's more about providing mentorship, support, and so on. And I truly hope that, given all these wonderful initiatives that you mentioned, the impact that these programs have on women must have been good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the impact is there while we have a long way to go. It's just that sometimes what happens when you start an initiative, you have a big goal, you want everybody to be a part of it. But while we continue on, we also tend to drop off because we have our other, priorities, right? Um, I was a part of a women leadership program. I just graduated 2 months ago from the women leadership program. It's an 18 months long journey. It wasn't an easy one. But how do I balance my professional, goals, which is like extremely demanding goals we have and the kind of asks we have day in, day out, which keeps changing, and also to make sure I take time to develop my own skill set. A lot of it was unlearning for me, trust me, because I'm not somebody who will raise my hand and ask for help unless and until it is really needed. But through this program, trust me, I've really learned it. How do I unlearn? How do I let go sometimes, which is when it's badly needed? And also to focus on what is my priority. Growth doesn't always have to be linear. Success doesn't always have to be linear, but there's much more to it, right? Your goals can be totally different to what somebody else's goal is. A program like this actually helps unlearn and relearn for leaders who really want to be successful, define what success is for them. It definitely helped me. I would say I've learned from the best in the industry with some of the CEOs we've heard. They also seem to have the same challenges what you and I have, especially once you become a parent. Your family takes precedence over your career. And that point in time, you're constantly wondering, how do I prioritize? What do I prioritize, right? So programs like this definitely created an impact, at least as a participant for me. It definitely gave me a lot of food for thought. How do I balance? While it could be something everybody is grappling with, that is called work-life balance, but it doesn't always have to be balanced. It's just that how ruthlessly can you prioritize what is critical for you now and how do you want to go about it? I think that's what makes a big difference when you're learning something new. It's also about how patient can you be when you're learning something new. So I'd say programs like this definitely create an impact. We might not be able to see the visible growth where out of 300 people, 20 people have taken on new roles. That's a big impact, trust me. But it also means the rest of them have definitely had a key takeaway for them to go back and implement what they want to do and how they want to go about it. Those are some of the, I would say, intangible impact programs like this definitely create,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. I think a lot of women professionals here would be very keen, very interested to know something that Mary just mentioned. She said that there is a lot of opportunity to network, but we don't leverage these networking opportunities and so on. So, Dr. Mamta, would you be able to share with us on what some initiatives or what are some steps women professionals can take to leverage these organizational initiatives, specifically focusing on the skill sets? Over to you, Dr. Mamta.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Gayatri and Mary. And I think, Mary, to a large extent, you kind of answered or said what I had in mind, because you've gone through the program, the Women's Leadership Program, and you shared your journey as a participant. And as someone who's worked with women professionals and leaders over the decade, for last 10 years, we've been doing this program with women professionals across levels, early in their career to senior leaders. This is exactly what we've observed. And that's what will lead me to, what steps I think they should take, is that sense of community does a lot of wonders. You suddenly feel you're not alone. if I'm having this issue, it is not just me. A lot of people have it out there, and we are all struggling with the same set. So somehow the fear to bring up something to discuss or to talk about, I might need childcare leave more if my children are younger and so on, then becomes a norm, and we are okay to talk about it. So that sense of community I see a lot. Gayatri, you also talked about the gender neutrality in the hiring practices and so many other initiatives, training, development that are in place. Now, in terms of, what we see as kind of challenges in embracing these. So if you ask me what women professionals should do, first of all is see what's out there, see what the company is doing there, understand what's happening. And sometimes this requires an open conversation. Go reach out to your HR. I know I can just sense from both of you sharing how invested you all are in these initiatives and how much you want them to work. So it's for us, and I would now call myself as a woman professional, to reach out and say, explain what this is going to do to me. How can I benefit from it? But that is something we have to be bold enough to step up, ask, and have that conversation. So embrace. Second is feedback. I think we hold the feedback to ourselves. I've gone through the program. What do I genuinely feel? What has worked? What has not worked? Mary, you brought up the point of balance. We sign up for long-term programs. We know that for women, it is so difficult to juggle, especially when it is a long-term program. So if you have to feed back to the organization that it has to be more flexible or online or short-term or break it into nuggets, whatever that feedback is, I think, again, it's somewhere you reach out and have those conversations and share that feedback so these programs are customized to what you really want. Stepping out of comfort zone. It has to happen. That is something we have to do. Nobody is going to do that for us. Something may not be relevant today because I have young kids. But remember, a stage is just a stage. It doesn't remain there. It changes. 2 years down the line, your children grow up. They may not need you as much. And then you feel, oh my God, I should have taken up that training at least when it was offered. If not the position, be okay to train and learn, thinking in future, this might be useful, if not now. So I would also like to end with the strategic HR part, Gayatri, since you're in that area. One of the things we do to kind of lead women to this kind of a mindset is when we start the program, we start with business acumen and strategic thinking. One is to give them an idea that this is the industry trend. This is the trend for your particular role that you're involved in and where and how you see yourself. Again, things may feel limiting right now because of your current situation, but it's not going to stay like that forever. So taking ownership, being a little more strategic in how you plan. Who do I network with? You said networking, Mary, and we have a module around strategic networking. To say it is difficult, we understand. So how can you be a bit more strategic in networking, finding what channels work for you, then branding, why that is so important in today's day, irrespective of the level you are at. So be open to learning and embrace all that is being offered, have conversations to learn and understand more about the initiative. So that would be my response, Dr. Dalwin.
Thank you, Dr. Mamata. So from what I gather is that there are just so many initiatives that are available surrounding women, but more often than not, we limit ourselves to all these opportunities and miss out on very good opportunities to leverage these organizational initiatives. So thank you to the panelists. Moving on. We were talking about success. So Mary was talking about success at work, but success goals can vary for different women. So it varies significantly for every woman, but because success is something personal, it's a very deeply personal concept. So some women may define success as basically doing well in their careers, aspiring to reach leadership positions or make significant contributions in their workplace. But to some women, it may mean financial independence, or to some women, it may just mean maintaining a harmonious work-life balance. So, my question is for you, Mary. What you were talking about the challenges and the gaps earlier. So, what are some challenges and gaps that you've observed that women face in achieving the success goals in organizations?
That's a very interesting question, and it's also, I would say, the most challenging in today's times, especially when you're talking about balancing your personal and your professional lives, right? Um, the most common challenge I have seen, at least so far, and though I work with some amazing leaders, I see that they also have similar challenges. The first challenge is, how do I give more time to my family? Because I think that's our first thing we put in a priority chart. If you were to look at it, family plays the most critical role, right? And then comes my professional, and then comes my well-being and everything, so on and so forth. While we are trying to do that, one of the challenges I've also seen, I think this would be one of the topmost challenges, is just not about balancing, but how do I see myself? I think that's the most important part of it. Do I respect enough? Do I have that kind of respect for myself to say no? Do I have that kind of, I would say, courage to go back and say that, hey, I do not have the skill set, but I would love to take on this project and be a part of it or contribute. That's the second one. And I like the skill which Dr. Mamata just mentioned, business acumen, strategic thinking. I think while we might be exceptionally good in what we do, some of us as women leaders, we do not really look at the acumen piece, the kind of acumen we need to have. It is the industry trend or the market trend or what's happening in my role in the industry or people who are in similar roles in the industry, right? So I would say one is definitely your business acumen and strategic thinking. Second, prioritizing about what do you want to do. And it doesn't always have to be your family first and your career first. It doesn't have to be in that order. It can change. Everything has a peak and a trough, right? So let's say Q1, my work has taken precedence. That means I'm going to deprioritize some of the things in my personal life so that I go easy on myself and do not have to be hard on myself. While I'm doing all this and trying to do the balancing act, we also miss out on our mental well-being. It's one of the biggest challenges today we are facing. We have a lot of opportunities for us to leverage, be it an app, a community, like you're saying, the sense of belongingness or your psychological safety. If I share that today I am not feeling great with my manager, am I being judged on? Am I going to miss out on my promotion eventually or the top rating which I deserve? Not necessarily. As long as you know how to prioritize, you know how to have the tough conversation, be it with your client, with your manager, or your leader. It's absolutely fine. Have that courage. I think that being bold, um, maybe it's not an inherent quality for all of us, but then it is important. You need to find that courage from the bottom of your heart, gut, wherever it is coming from, to go and have that conversation saying that, hey, I think I need to take a step back from this project because I really burnt out. Trust me, 2 years ago, I was in that space. I was juggling about 10 critical projects, all most critical ones at an org wide. While it is not part of my job, but I've taken on a few on my own. And I was given a few projects because those are all high visibility projects. It's only because of my business acumen the project was given to me, not because of anything else. And when I was handling this project, 6 months down the line, I was actually burnt out completely. And I didn't know what to do. And I took a step back, evaluated, saying that what are the things I can do as of now and what are the things I can delegate. I made a plan. I went back to my boss and my super boss and I said, listen, I'm on the verge of literally burning out. I don't think at this pace I can really be successful the way I expect myself to be. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself and expecting a lot. So I'm going to take a step back. These are the projects I'm going to deliver. These are the projects I would need your help with. And after having that conversation, when I stepped out, And I went for a break. I just went for a walk to clear my head that did I do the right thing, or did I make a career limiting move here? And trust me, it actually worked well because the leaders really appreciated my candid, feedback. One, that how giving too many projects can burn out an individual without even realizing. And also, how quickly can you bring the team together to help somebody who really needs that kind of help? So I would say the challenges are limitless. It's always there, but it also takes a minute for you to take a step back to think, reevaluate, reset, and refocus, you know. And the most critical challenge is the balancing act of how do I balance my professional and my personal life? Do I go and speak to somebody or do I hold it back? These are the most critical challenges I have seen. Opportunities are immense. There are times you are actually put a limit to yourself saying that I don't want to take it because I don't have the skill set. Maybe you should give it a try and see how it goes. If it works, you spin it. Otherwise, you bin it. Right. So these are some of the challenges, especially when you're looking at a leadership role. You do not have to be a born leader. You can learn the skill to become a leader. Yeah. So these are some of the things I have seen, and I still see it. It's not going away. It's going to be there. But again, you need to learn to, unlearn, relearn, ask for help. Know when to say no. These are some of the things you could do.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for sharing your personal experience and personal challenges that you have faced as well. Now, Gayatri, in your organization, what are the challenges or gaps that you've observed that women leaders or professionals normally face towards their success goal?
Thanks a lot, Dalwinder. And I would want to piggyback on what Mary did mention, right? Quite a bit of inputs. See, here I'm very cognizant about the cultural and the personality differences. But all that set apart, I would say that what I've seen in my closest friend and in myself and some of the women leaders, we kind of get swayed by the superwoman syndrome, right? Because we see all the successful women around us and we say that, okay, we can do it all and we can achieve it all. And, we try to get burned out because of the superwoman syndrome or the perfectionist trap one gets into. That's one main challenge what I see. And the second challenge what I've experienced myself, so from going from a old school of thought, so I'm of that category, I do my work and I keep quiet and I expect everybody to notice what I'm doing and reward me instantly, right? Later on, I realized that me as a person, as a professional, is also a product. So how do I market myself? What is the USP? If I have to bid for my job every single day, will I be getting the job myself? If I'm getting what I'm doing right, if I'm not getting, what should I do differently? How do I stay relevant, right? So this is something over a period of time when you become comfortable. I mean, Dr. Manda spoke about the comfort zone, right? You become comfortable. You feel that, okay, you can close your eyes and do what you're doing. You're perfect in what you're doing. And then you become into the comfort zone. You do not want to kind of challenge that. At that point in time, you either need an external push or you need an intrinsic motive to come out of it. I was speaking to a very recent woman leader, and interestingly, we were talking about, generally talking about what's happening within the team. And then I was just generally speaking about, okay, what are you doing? What are the new things you're reading? And stuff like that. And she kind of spoke about something very interesting for us about the financial independence. So she started asking questions about very basic things, which I thought maybe an entry level colleague would do. But I did not judge her because I realized myself that there are many women colleagues, or even, being very gender neutral, colleagues are not paying too much of attention or enough attention to the financial independence. So that is one of the challenge and the gap. What I see that the women, leaders, or even not even women leaders, many of the colleagues are getting into. So as a leader, when you speak about a leader, I personally believe each one of us is a leader. And in order to bring them to truth, you need to act like a leader. You need to think like a leader. Then definitely that will materialize well, right? And also, when you are in a team, like I'm leading a diverse team, right? I'm into a regional role, leading a diverse team. So I can say for myself that every team member is unique. Every team member, their need and their motivation factors are so different. So for me as a leader, for them to connect with me, I need to take them along with the journey. I need to connect on a personal level with them. I need to speak the same language. I have like a very diverse team. Somebody is like a baby boomer to someone like a Gen Z in my team. So me as a leader, if I have to say that I'm a good communicator, communication is an essential skill. I need to connect with the latest or the newest entrant in my team. Am I able to connect with that person? Am I able to speak the same language? So communication plays a main role. And somewhere we feel that communication, what I'm intending to communicate, if that's good enough, I'm a great communicator. That's not the thing. If my message is, received in the right sense and the right spirit by the recipient, that is when I'm considered as a great communicator. So for me, my team to look at me or for any of the leader, you need to be a subject matter expert because we are speaking about, again, pardon me if there are others from other industry, I'm aware of that, but whichever industry you belong to, you need to stay relevant. You need to be considered as a subject matter expert, right? Continuous learning is something which we all need to be getting into, always need to keep that in mind. So Mary spoke about various initiatives and various programs available. Which one makes more sense for you? What is that you're expecting as an outcome from it? So that is more important. And we also try to get into somewhere the trap of pleasing others, wherein there is a constraint for us to say no or even give constructive feedback for people, right? Because we do not want to hurt the feeling, we do not want to be cut as a unpopular figure, and all of this is another trap what I see. We spoke about the network. We spoke about how do you leverage network rather than create more network. So for me personally, if I have to admit, asking for help is a challenge. Somewhere I say that when I ask for help, it is like a sign of weakness for me. Okay. And I came out of it with a recent incident wherein I had to manage one of the country outside of Southeast Asia. And then I had to do everything on my own. So me, true to myself, I will take everything on my own. Like Mary, how you said 10 projects at the same time, right? I started handling everything on my own, and then I realized that this is not working because you're doing a regional role. You already have a highly demanding job, and you've taken up something on your own, and then you're owning everything up. You're not being effective, you're not being productive, and you are not asking for help. So that's when I realized the power of asking, wherein you need to ask for help at the right time with the right people. And that really helped me. We spoke about work-life balance. For me, actually, that's a myth, sorry to say. The balance is always tilted at any given point in time, right? Either your work takes precedence or your personal thing takes precedence. For me, it's kind of a work-life flow. And what I've done a few things is, how did I help my family members to become independent, I would put. How did I get my kids to become more independent, right? And I did not get into the trap of the quantity versus the quality thing. And I'm more focused on quality. So even if I'm spending 2 hours with my kid, is it the quality versus the quantity wherein I'm looking at my phone, I'm working on my laptop rather than having a eye-to-eye conversation with my kids, right? So I spend a lot more on the quality than on the quantity. And also as a professional to be successful or when you climb up the ladder, I think it's very important to understand a concept called shadow organization. So shadow organization kind of tells you where are the power centers, who's who in the organization. So you have an organization hierarchy, which is like very evident, who's who, the designation, all of that. Beyond that, there's something called a shadow organization, wherein you get to see who will be your influencers, who are the decision makers, right? Where is the power centers, right? So once you understand that, and I'm not saying you manipulate, but you try to create a network and leverage those networks to your advantage so that you're getting benefited as well as your initiatives, whatever you're trying to roll out, also will get the due credit for it. We spoke about self-care, very important. That is something personally I kept in the back burner. And then I realized that unless and until I take care of myself, I will not be of any value to my family or even to my professional or to my friends that way. So self-care, even it is a small thing you do, 10 minutes of meditation or just taking a tour on the stall within, wherever you can, but having some small chit chat with your friends or who you can go to. The other point what I want to bring in is create your own network of mentors. There should be one mentor in your personal life, one mentor in your personal life, so that at your professional front, you can always speak about your affairs, Maybe you speak about your office politics, how do you manage it, how do you navigate it smartly, and also in your personal side, you may want to just vent out, not being judged, and also try to get the best suggestion from that person. So these are some of the challenges, gaps which I face, I'm still facing, and I'm trying to come out of it. And there's a beautiful book, many of you might have read it, How Women Rise. That is done by Marshall Goldsmith and also Sally Helgeson. So there are 12 traps which is mentioned in that. It's very true, very relatable. And how can you come out of it? That's highly recommended book. I wouldn't say only for women, even for male colleagues, but you just take a look at it and read it. And that's a highly recommended book. And that clearly calls about the 12 challenges every woman faces. And if you overcome that, there is no end to the potential and
Thank you, Gayatri. In fact, a recent Deloitte study on women at work, which was done on about, I think, 5,000 women in 10 countries, has also found that, women mental health issues and physical health issues still persist, even with all these initiatives that are available for women. So it also has highlighted where, mental health, physical health, microaggressions, and also the inclusive culture at work are some areas that need more work. So, Dr. Mamata, having designed and delivered a multitude of programs over 10 years or so, would you be able to share some initiatives or development plans that are available for women in this space? In fact, on how to foster gender intelligence in workplaces and so on. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Dalwin and Mary Gayatri. Before I answer Dalvin's question, I would like to just touch upon challenges. And it's interesting. 10 years and what I saw in terms of challenges then and today, strangely, nothing much has changed. A lot of work has been done in this space. In this decade, a lot of work has been done. So much of money has gone in. But internally, when I see how women think and feel, yes, there is a difference. But in terms of challenges, I realize when I coach women, it's still the same. I'm getting stressed, I'm getting overwhelmed. And I seem to be telling the same thing over and over again. And I'm thinking, why are my solutions not changing? I mean, in 10 years, things have changed. 10 years back, I think a lot of them didn't have that financial capability to have in-house help. Today, I have women leaders who probably have 3 people to help them at home, yet the challenge is the same. Oh my God, I have so many things. I'm like, things have changed. Why is the challenge still the same? So then we realize, and the way we position this when we take women through this is, there are 2 types of challenges here. One is the external, the environment, where we are trying to change the system to be very gender neutral. We're trying to make everyone aware of gender intelligence. We think differently. We're biologically different. So embrace that and understand that. And that's what we're trying to do with all the DI initiatives. But there's a second challenge, and that is us. And this is where, Mary, Gayatri, everything that you said about how we can't say no, that remains. I've seen that in the last 10 years. I see it every day. Can't say no. I tend to take on, I want to. I'm passionate about my work, so I want to. So I'm taking it up, but then I burn out. Pressure to be perfect in all your roles. It can't happen. Like you said, work-life balance is a myth. So somewhere in my early days when I was doing work in this area, I heard a woman leader speak, and she said, I wake up today, I decide today I'm going to be the perfect mom. So I'll take my kids out. Tomorrow I wake up, I don't want to see my kids. I want to go to work. So she said, it's okay, right? I mean, you wake up one day feeling I can do one thing better than the other, and that is okay. So being okay to let go, being okay to build that support system that can rally around you, and it is okay to ask for help. So this, I think, is a constant message that we have to send out there. That is my answer to Dr. Dalwin in one simple word, that it is okay. It is okay to not be perfect. It is okay to ask for help, and let's just see what is happening out there and be open to learning. Yeah. I would also, Dr. Dalwin, if you're okay, summarize what we've talked about so far, because I see the chat is buzzing with a lot of questions for our panel, and we can give some time. So quickly to summarize for the audience here, we've had some fantastic inputs from our panel here, telling you all what the industry is doing, what companies are doing, how aware they are about the issue and the initiatives, policies that are going in place. They are also cognizant of the challenges that women leaders face. So be open to talk about it, converse with them so you get what you want, you get the support that you need, so they understand what support you need. The representation of women in leadership positions is a lot more today, so I'm sure you'll get that understanding. So with this, I'll hand it back to Dr. Dalwin to take us through the Q&A from the audience. Back to you, Dr. Dalwin.
Thank you, Dr. Mamata, for summarizing these points on challenges. So yeah, we are flooded with a lot of comments and questions in the chat box. Now, looking at these questions, I think one general question that we see from almost all participants is whether or not if their glass ceiling still persists for women in leadership roles. So if any one of you could take up this question.
So maybe I'll start, and
Yes,
maybe
yes,
feel
please.
free to step in. So glass ceiling is that existing. So I would say that we need to understand every organization has its own maturity stage. There are some organizations, for example, if you are in a startup, wherein the hierarchy is like very flat, right? So, I mean, if you're talking about how they climb up the ladder and stuff like that, it is not very complex as compared to a hierarchical organization wherein it's a metric structure or, you know, a little bit of a bureaucratic. So when the glass ceiling exists, I would say that it's a perception. And if you feel that there is a glass ceiling, then try to understand why you feel that way. But if you feel that the glass ceiling is there, but I can just pass through it and I can, you know, climb and I can move to the next level. So that is when you will start thinking about what are the actions I need to take to break the glass ceiling that way. I would say that DEI is one of the comments that DEI is good in papers and then it does not really practice in the right spirit. And again, here, I would say that every organization is their own journey when it comes to DEI. I would say that even at SAP, as I gave an example, some of the women colleagues, we really had to nudge them to apply for leadership role because they were a little skeptical about what it means to me, my work-life balance, work-life will be impacted, will I be successful? And I'm scared, and I'm a people pleaser, then what do I do if I have to be a little bit more assertive in my new role? So there were many questions coming away. So I would say that the glass ceiling may or may not exist, but your perception is what makes it more relevant. If you feel that there is a glass ceiling, still I can break it and go through it, that is important. If you feel that the glass ceiling is still there and I cannot really surpass that, that is again up to you. So what comes in your way of what you want, what you want to achieve is really your thought process and your perception. But if an organization doesn't have the checks and measures to help people come out of it, then that's when it is important to bring those practices and learn from other organizations and put those practices in place. Or if you are in a position where you can give feedback to the management, please provide feedback to the management so that they're aware that there could be some practices they need to put in place so to support the women colleague to really break the glass ceiling. Thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri, for sharing your perspective on the glass ceiling. As we are tight on time, we'll just take another question from the participants. So this one question that is also pretty common here is on what are the common leadership traits or pattern that you observe, or rather skill sets that you observe among successful women leaders in organizations? If any one of you could take up this question.
Take that.
Yeah, Mary.
See, leadership is a very interesting skill as I'm going to take a lead from what Gayatri happened to mention. We are all leaders in our own way. All right. Some of us are born, some of us have inherent qualities. Probably we never had the opportunity to demonstrate, right? It could be situational too. So we have that quality. It's just that maybe I never had the opportunity to showcase. So leadership as a quality, if you were to really define, It's how courageous are you to accept the right and the wrong, or even to articulate what is needed. And the skills, if I were to call out, one is how empathetic are you? Okay, because I think empathetic leaders make some impactful changes when it is required. So empathy, courage, and your ability to articulate, that means your business storytelling has to be really, really good. My ability to articulate, understand, and make people really understand what's going on, I think definitely differentiates between a great leader and an okay leader, right? Leadership is also about the opportunities you have in front of you, which you identify and you want to tap into it, even though you might not have the knowledge yet, and you're ready to go and say, I want to be a part of it. Let me be there and be a part of the project. Your ability to collaborate, yeah, is also a leadership quality. Some of the traits, I would say, these are, the most crucial ones. And you being an SME, what is that you're bringing? Like Dr. Mamta mentioned, gender intelligence, right? It doesn't always have to say, because I'm reporting to a male leader or a male manager, I'm not very comfortable in going and telling my problems because he would not understand, or he would not hear me out, or he would not have the kind of perspective I am looking forward to. Probably you should stop thinking that way about what others are thinking, but more it could be that, hey, how can I actually highlight what I bring to the table? How unique are my skill sets? As an SME, what am I bringing here and how am I contributing to the project? It could be the same answer a male counterpart could have mentioned too. And some of us would have been in a situation saying that, hey, I just mentioned that, and this guy happened to, he got the credit for it and I did not. Right? I'm sure we faced it at one point in our lives somewhere. But then how did you actually speak about it? Do you want to still hold on to it, or do you want to put a spin on it and present the same as, like, I totally agree to what Dr. Mamta has mentioned. Having said that, there's another caveat I would love to add. Maybe if you bring your point of view in a different way, it could be the same thing, but the way you paraphrase definitely makes a mark and it leaves an impact there. That is also leadership. So some of the traits I would say is being courageous, have a childlike curiosity. Curiosity is very important. It is all about the how and the why. How can I solve this problem? How can I make it better? How can I be there? How do I do it? These are some of the things definitely play a very important role as a leader for us. Maybe you could be a project leader. It's all about how you see yourself in the mirror. You want to be the cat or the lion. That's the key differentiator. The only difference is the mirror in which you're seeing your reflection in. And I would say, don't restrict yourself to gender just because it happens to be there. We all bring our own strengths to the table, right? How do you want to network? And I really love what Gayatri mentioned, finding those, champions or this mentors. I would go a little ahead and say, find your sponsor. The sponsor who could actually tell you where the opportunities are, or just give you a prod and a nudge, which you definitely deserve. And don't let go of the circles or the communities you build. It could be your own women's circle, or circle with the other genders. But I would say build your equity as a leader. It goes a long way. What is your personal brand as a leader? How do you stand out? These are some of the traits, and it goes a long way. Trust me, today you might not have been recognized, but it's definitely there on somebody else's mind because they noticed you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. So from what we have heard over an hour of discussions, opportunities are abound for women to upskill, to find mentorship opportunities, to be coached, to be trained, and so on. So if you're interested and if you want to learn more on these essential skills, there's a QR code that is flashed on screen right now. So please stay tuned. Unfortunately, we can't take in a lot of the questions that you have, but thank you so much for the comments, feedbacks, and we hope to answer all these questions the next sessions that we have. And I think, one very interesting point that I myself realized realized from this discussion is that we grew up hearing about the proverb, great minds think alike, but I think now we have entered an era where great minds think unalike, and there's just so much of diversity of thought in workplaces these days. And it's interesting to know more, and hope to meet all of you again. Thank you to our speakers, our panelists today, Dr. Mamata Bhandar, Gayatri Mohan, Mary Andrew. Thank you for your time. And thank you to all the participants for being here with us on a Saturday. Thank you so much, and
Thank you
goodbye.
so much for having us. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
everyone. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. And thank you to the audience. A lot of good questions. We will definitely get back to this and try and respond to all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Nice
Have
meeting
a good one. Bye.
Bye. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Professor.
Thanks to all. Thank you very much.
Pushan, please save the chat. Yeah, so we have the questions with us.